Hello and welcome to the Patient Educators Update, where we talk about patient education in a clinical environment. I'm Chuck Jones with Synergy Broadcast, and I want to welcome our expert guest, Fran London. Hi, Fran.
Hi, Chuck.
Fran is the patient education specialist at Phoenix Children's Hospital in Phoenix, Arizona, and she is also the author of the book, No Time to Teach, The Essence of Patient and Family Education for Healthcare Providers. You would think I would have that part by heart, but I don't. But we use Fran's book for the majority of our topics, and this week is no exception, Fran. We're going to take a section out of the towards the end of the book, and I'm titling this episode, What's the Point of Patient Education? And as some background on that, I found a quote the other day that I thought was kind of interesting. It comes from Matt Berry, who is the founder and CEO of Orca Health. And he says patient education is a monster problem. And he backs that up with some statistics from his company that says that more than half of all visits to the doctor's office don't result in optimal care because the patient doesn't understand what the doctor is saying. It goes on to say this problem is called low health literacy and costs the nation as much as $238 billion with a B per year, with $73 billion attributed to hospital stays caused by the patient not understanding or adhering to the doctor's instructions. So what do you say about that?
Well, I agree it's a big problem, but I think it's maybe not as, it's easier to solve than he implies. Low health literacy is really a problem of capacity where the patient truly is incapable of understanding, so it needs to be presented in a totally different way in order to match the understanding of the patient. Whereas I think a lot of the non-adherence that he's talking about is not due to low literacy skills, but really that the doctor is not being clear that it's a communication issue and not low literacy.
Yeah, so there's a big difference between low literacy and low information. Low information can be caused by poor communication. You know, the doctor says you need, your whatchamacallit and your jigahoozy, and the guy says, well, okie dokie, but he doesn't know what those things are and doesn't stop and ask the question,
Right.
which would continue the discussion. Because he doesn't want to appear dumb or whatever, but he's smart enough to comprehend it if he just asked the question.
Exactly.
Exactly. Unlike the person who either because of any number of things just couldn't possibly understand what the doctor is talking about because they don't understand the medical terms, how the body works. They have trouble with thought processes. I mean, there's just a ton of things that can cause low literacy. But what you're saying is the bigger issue is not the low literacy. That's a small portion of it, and it is real. But the bigger problem is the low and poor communication between doctor and patient or nurse and patient. Do I have that right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So with that as a background, let's see if we can kind of tie this up for folks. I'm going to go back to the premise of the title, which I said, what's the point of patient education, by asking you one of the questions from your book. What is the point of providing healthcare?
The point of healthcare is really to improve health outcomes in the long run. That you really want to help people get better.
Yeah, it's long-term health. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Okay, well then, what has the greatest impact on long-term health care? Is it the 5-minute doctor visit, or is it something else?
Well, you can make some change within the 5-minute doctor visit. The doctor can do some kind of treatment or prescribe some kind of treatment that, you will go out of there feeling a little bit better than you did when you walk in. But in order to impact the long-term health care, you really have to have the patient change behaviors, either take a medication, change lifestyle, do things differently so that the health improvement sticks.
Yeah. Now, you have a great quote that runs off and on throughout the book that after the immediacy of saving lives, self-care behaviors have the greatest impact on long-term health outcomes, and that's where the patient education comes in, doesn't it?
Exactly. The whole point is we need to spend more time making sure the patient understands what to do to take care of himself.
Yeah.
And if there are barriers, then to deal with those so that you can improve health outcomes. Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah, exactly. And the last question I was going to ask you is what has the greatest impact on self-care? And basically you've answered that. It's the information and coaching that's provided in the patient and family education. Now, there's another interesting sentence in the book that I thought it was worth bringing up here. And right from your book, it says, the time you spend teaching costs less than the complications, medications, hospitalizations, and surgeries you can prevent.
And that's huge. Absolutely huge.
It is huge, and I mean this is something. It's not in bold print in your book, and it probably ought to be. I mean that one sentence just speaks volumes of the relative importance of patient education, and kind of puts it in perspective. Because what so often do the nurses or the doctors say? I don't have time to teach.
And they're not looking at the big picture.
Right.
And it's easy to spend money on high-tech stuff, or to look at, using other things to help solve the problems. But really, the conversation is so important.
Yeah, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. So we hope the message here is one that folks will take to heart. I'm going to reread this sentence once again, then we'll close out the show. The time you spend teaching costs less than the complications, medications, hospitalizations, and surgeries you can prevent. So with that as a closing statement, why don't you tell folks how they can find you online and get more good information like this?
Well, I'm at notimetoteach.com. I've got a blog there, and I'm also on Twitter at notimetoteach.
And for those of you that are interested in purchasing Fran's book, it's available at Amazon and other book resellers and e-tailers, and it's available in both paperback and digital form for your Kindle readers and whatnot. And if you are interested in stepping up your patient education by providing some additional tools to your nursing staff, we would encourage you to add video as one of those things, because there's a lot of great educational programs out there that help turn complex topics into simpler terms for patients that don't have medical degrees. So, and you can find more about that by visiting our website, synergybroadcast.com, and looking for our video on demand system. We call it MMDS, or Medical Media Delivery System. And we'll put links to all the show notes, all the stuff we talked about in the show notes today. So, Fran, thanks so much for your time. I appreciate it, and I look forward to talking to you next time.
Bye, Chuck.
Bye-bye.